So welcome again to this particular session. Last time when we finished up, we were discussing what we call departure. Is it possible from India's? That means, is it possible for an entity actually to departure from the requirement of an India's? And we sought the answer. The answer was yes. So a particular entity can definitely depart from a particular requirement of an India's, provided entity is able to prove that actually such departure was necessary to what we call present the accounts and financial in a truer and fairer manner. However, as we also saw, that entity actually needs to disclose the facts by way of notes in this regard. So now, just to supplement it further, we pick up a case study and try to understand this particular point a little bit more deeply. So case study we are picking up now. Case study, correct? So in this particular case study, you write along with me and give me a minute or so, because sometime it requires a bit of time to recapitulate the things, isn't it? So you write entity actually lots of lights are there, so it is glaring on my specs. So entity G1 Limited, this is the name, entity G1 Limited, correct? Or prepares, entity G1 Limited prepares its financials. Entity G1 Limited prepares its financials that are, or you write that contain explicit and unreserved, explicit and unreserved statement of compliance, statement of compliance with Ind AS, with Ind AS. So as far as entity G1 is concerned, it prepares its financial statement, and financial statement also contain this particular statement that we have, we clearly stated, and without under any pressure. Unreserved means without any under pressure, and explicit means very clear that we have complied up with all the NDAs. So entity is actually giving a note in this regard. However, comma, the auditor the auditor's report on those financials or on those financial statements contains a qualification. Qualification is a sort of question mark. A qualification because of disagreement on application of one Ind AS. In such case, comma, is it acceptable, is it acceptable for the entity to make an explicit and unreserved statement of compliance with Ind AS? This is the question. You must understand the question. Company on its side has prepared the financial, and company has made it very clear also that we have prepared these what we call financial as per the by complying the various Ind AS. But problem is that auditor has actually given a question mark with respect to a particular thing because auditor is finding that this particular entity is not meeting the requirement of a one particular Ind AS. Correct? So now the question is, in such cases, can it be construed that the entity is complying with the Ind AS? The answer would be yes, because sometimes you can depart from the requirement of one particular Ind AS, provided actually your intention here is to present the what we call financials in a truer and fairer manner. Isn't it or not? So that's the reason. So in this case, answer will be, this is your answer. Yes, it is possible for entity. It is possible for an entity to make an unreserved means without any pressure, unreserved and explicit a statement of compliance with Ind AS. Ind AS. Although auditor has qualified the financials, that means he has put a question marks, qualified the financial statement means. Although auditor has qualified the financial statement on account of disagreement with one particular Ind AS, yet financials shall be construed, financial statements shall be construed as complying with what? Complying with Ind AS. Further, Ind AS 1, we know that Ind AS 1 allows an entity to depart. Further, Ind AS 1 allows an entity to depart from requirement of Ind AS, requirement of Ind AS, provided it helps in presenting, it helps the entity in presenting financial statement in a truer and fairer manner. Correct? So this is with respect to what we call this is with respect to the what we call supplementation of the discussion which we were having actually in the last session. Correct? That whether an entity can depart from the requirement of one particular Ind AS or not. So after having a look over this particular fact, let me see actually till up to what stage now we have reached. We have covered 9th, last point was 9th. So now we shall move a bit further, correct? And we'll go for the 10th point. The next point is with respect to going concern. Going concern. Nothing in this case to add actually, and each one of you are very well aware that financial statement prepared under Ind AS should be prepared, of course, on a going concern basis, unless the entity has a feeling or the management of the entity has a feeling that entity would cease to exist or entity is about to close its operations. So in that case, of course, we will not adopt going concern as approach. But usually an entity is supposed to actually prepare the accounting on the basis of the fact that entity is a going concern. However, as I said, if the management of the entity has what we call some notions, some hunches that because of some losses or because of some any other eventual what we call events which has put what we call entity into some sort of trouble, and if the management feels that entity won't be able to what we call cease for a won't be able to what we call function for a prolonged period of time and it would cease its operation, in that case of course we will not adopt going concern basis. So nothing more to add in this case, but still financial statements prepared under financial statement prepared under Ind AS should be on a going concern basis unless management either intends to liquidate the entity or to cease the operations or has no alternative to do so. So, all in all, in nutshell, if entity has a doubt with respect to its functioning in future, company should what we call, in that case, should not prepare the accounts as per going concern basis. But if the entity has what we call feeling that we are going to close our business, in that case, of course, we will see that accounts are generally prepared on the basis of net realizable value of the assets. But anyway, so financial statement prepared under Ind AS should be on a going concern basis, no doubt about that. But if the feeling is otherwise, then of course we will not adopt going concern basis as the accounting base to prepare the accounts. Now, in this regard, it looks a very simple thing, but in this regard, sometimes questions are asked in the examination, correct? And I will put up a case study before you so that you can understand it better. Case study. In order to understand this case study, just pay attention. I'm putting up a diagram here. This is case study, pretty long case study. This is entity G2. Name of the entity is G2, correct? And G2 is a large manufacturer of plastic product. Manufacturer of plastic products. A large manufacturer of plastic products. For local market. That means whatever it produces, it sells in the local market within the country. Now, current year 1/4/2016 is there and it ends on 31st of 3/2017. In the current year, what happens? On 1/4/2016, government makes some reforms. Government makes some reforms and it abolishes import tariff. it abolishes import tariff. What does it mean? It means, try to understand. If suppose I'm also a part of this industry like G2, that means I'm also a concern which is manufacturing plastic goods. But G2 is a large company, it is manufacturing the goods of its own. But what I am doing, I am importing it from the other country and I am selling it in the local market. G is manufacturing the goods by itself and selling in the local market. On the other hand, I'm not as big as a company like G2, but I'm also in the plastic plastic product sale trade, and I import the goods and then I sell it in the local market. Now, if the government will abolish means to waive off the import tariff. Import tariff means if somebody would import the goods, if there are import tariffs, that means I will have to pay some taxes to the government. Besides the cost which I would incur in importing the goods, I will also have to churn out some amount to the government in the form of tariff. Now, the new government, what it does, it abolishes the import tariff. So it means now the import have become what we call more feasible and cheaper, because now I am not required to actually pay the import tariffs. Are you getting my point or not? That is the meaning of import tariff. So abolishes the import tariff. Besides, the new government, what does it does? The new government, besides that, other reforms also are there. Correct? And due to other reform, what happened? Indian currency gets appreciated or strengthened, gets appreciated. Now, because of this, what happens? Because new government has made sweeping reforms, on account of that, what we call Indian currency now got upvalued, or what we call got appreciated. In simple word, it got what we call strengthened. Correct? Now, due to these steps of government, what is happening to us? We are G2 Limited. Because G2 Limited was manufacturing the goods, number one, and number two, it was selling the goods in the local market. And there are other entities also which are not producing the goods, they were importing the goods from the other countries and selling in the local market. Now, because government has taken away the import tariffs, that means import have become what we call cheaper, and also the Indian rupee has appreciated. Again, those who were importing the goods will get benefit because Indian currency has now appreciated. So on account of these, all in all, import has become a little bit more cheaper. So due to which competition has arisen in the market, and we have started losing the market. Are you getting my point or not? Because of these steps, we are losing the market. You need to understand it this way. So now next point is very important. Just wait. Just a minute. Give me. Right. Actually, I was looking for the case study which was written, and lots of, as I'm saying, sheets are there. Sometimes it becomes difficult to trace them out. Anyway, I still remember, don't worry about that. So Indian currency gets appreciated, and on account of this, what happens? The fallout means the consequence. Fallout of these steps is fallout of these steps of government fallout of these steps of the government is that import has become cheaper, And competition has increased, because now earlier we were manufacturing and selling in the market, it was pretty easier for us, but it was tough for the other entities because earlier there were import tariffs, but now the import tariffs have been reduced or completely waived off. Further, Indian currency has taken what we call appreciation. So on account of these other players in the market, they find actually it is pretty easier now to import the goods. So that is why competition has become a little bit more heated up. Import has become cheaper and competition more tough, have become tough on account of these reasons. Correct? Now just pay attention. So again I am drawing a chart. So all in all, we may say G2 now has started losing. G2 now is incurring losses. On account of these reasons, G2 Limited is now incurring losses. Now what happens? Again I am drawing a chart. Actually it's a very long case study taken straight away from the module. Correct? With little bit of changes, of course. So as I've already told you, current year is 1/4/2016 and ending on 31st of 3/2017. In the first quarter we made a loss. How much it is not given, but we made a loss. In the second quarter, of course the first quarter will run till up to 30th of June 2016, and second quarter will end on 30th of September 2016. Q1, Q2. In the first quarter we made a loss, even in the second quarter we made a loss. But what happens after the end of the second quarter? There was protest in the market by those industries which were manufacturing the goods, who were not importing. So these industries now they protest and they ask the government to put some tariff so that import become a little bit more costlier and it becomes a little bit more tougher for the other players to import the goods. So a protest was made after the end of the second quarter. Now earlier government had imposed a tariff of 40%. If somebody would import the goods, he will have to pay 40% extra. And that 40% has been abolished by the new government. But when the protest was made after the end of the second quarter of the current year, so on account of this protest, government enacted 10% tariff charges. Government enacted 10% tariff charges. 10% tariff charges. We made a protest. G2 and similar what we call entities made protests. So government ultimately told, okay, well, we'll put 10% tariff charges. But earlier it was 40%. On account of this step, in the third quarter, it is given to us in the question that our loss now is 400. It is given that our loss is, but it is also given this loss has reduced. So perhaps in the first and second quarter we might have incurred a loss which is higher than 400, so it is reduced, and in the third quarter it further reduced to 380 degree. 380. But it is also given in this entire period, total loss was 4,000 crore. That means in the first 2 quarters we must have incurred very high amount of loss, but in the third quarter it reduced to 400, and finally in the fourth quarter, this fourth quarter will end up here. In the fourth quarter, it reduced further 380, but still finally during the entire accounting year we still have a stunning loss of 4,000 crore. It's not an easy amount. But government has made a statement that in future, government has made a statement that currency will remain stable. Currency shall remain stable. And our management, G2's management is of the view that under these circumstances means if there is 10% tariff on the import goods and money will not appreciate further, because when money will appreciate further it will become easy to import and again the competition will become tougher for us. So G2 management is of the view that under these conditions under these conditions entity may return to profitability. Entity may return to profitability. So such a long, it was just a case study. If I will surmise the case study, it will be like that. G2 is a plastic manufacturer. It is producing the goods and of course selling the goods in the local market, but there are other entities in the market that are actually importing the goods and then selling in the market. Earlier there was tariff of nearly 40%, so it was pretty difficult to import. But now the new government abolishes the import tariffs, on account of which import have become cheaper. And further the Indian currency has started appreciating on account of the sweeping reforms which the new government has taken place. So on account of these reasons, we have started losing the market, and in fact in the first 2 quarters of the current year, losses were of very high amount, although it is not given clearly in the question how much the losses were. But when we saw that there were heavy amounts of losses, the entities which are similar to G2, they made a protest to the government, and ultimately government told, okay, we will again reenact what we call 10% tariff charge. And government also forecast that in future, I think for a pretty long period of time now, the currency will remain what we call stable. And our management now is of the opinion that if such steps will continue, if such forecast remain so, then definitely we will return to profitability, because in the third quarter and the fourth quarter losses have reduced a wee bit, because total loss was 4,000 and in the third quarter loss was 400 and it reduced further to 380 crores. That's the question. Now, of course, the main question is how the entity should prepare its financials in the current year. Should it adopt the what we call going concern approach or not? Logically, your answer, whatever your answer is, you have to supplement it by way of note, because ultimately if we find that if our entity is a going concern under these circumstances, we will have to supplement it by way of a note. That's basically the question. So you write it that answer. While assessing The going concern assumption comma an entity is required to take into consideration the factors covering at least but not limited to 12 months from the end of reporting period. From the end of the reporting period, correct? I have to look into the screen time and again can't help it actually. Following disclosure in this regard may be attached. What has happened? Following disclosure in this regard maybe following disclosure in this regard may be made the disclosure is like that. First you will write note. In the note you will write basis of preparation. Then you will write like this: on the basis of management assessment on the basis of management's assessment as at 31st 3/2017, comma the financial statements have been prepared on the going concern basis. Going concern basis. Important thing is that you will prepare on the going concern basis, but you will have to cite the reasons. Reasons why. You will write the same point which I wrote earlier. Okay, I will write. Reasons: 10% tariff reimposed, government forecast currency stability, that means currency will remain stable, and management visualizes return to profitability. So on account of these reasons, what we call going concern approach should be adopted. So I told you it's a pretty long extended, it's a pretty long case study. So that is how sometime management would have to visualize. Correct? Answer was easy, but it was tough to understand this particular case study. Anyway, we will continue in the next session.